Welcome back to my channel, everyone, and welcome back to another video in this computer organization course. So we'll be converting from octal to decimal, and we'll only be focusing on this. In previous videos, I've done decimal to octal and binary to octal, or the opposite way around. So converting from octal to decimal will be much more similar to converting from binary to decimal than it is to decimal to octal. So if you haven't seen the binary to decimal conversion video, it will help you a lot if you see it beforehand. So let's get started. So here we have a value, and let me get my pen out. So here we have a value of 3,251 in base 8, and we want to figure out what its corresponding value in base 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out what place this corresponds to, what powers it corresponds to, and what's the value in its corresponding value. So what we're going to do is, for the first one is 8 to the 0 times 1. So we're going to figure out the placeholders. And we're using 8 because we are using the octal numbering system, and that focuses on a radix of 8. And we're going to multiply and then sum up these values. Alright, so it's going to be 3 times 8 to the third, because it's in the fourth row right here. I say fourth row because it's in the fourth row, but we start with 0. So this is the first column, second column, third column, fourth column. So it's just n minus 1. And we're going to add that. And it's going to be 8 squared times 2 plus 8 to the 1 times 5 plus 8 to the 0 times 1. So 3 times 8 to the third, what is that? It is 1,536 plus, this is going to be 64 times 2, which is going to be 128 plus 40. And remember, 8 to the 0 is 1, so it's going to be 1. So 1536 plus 128 plus 40 plus 1. And that value is going to be 1705 in base 10. So that is how you convert from octal to decimal. So let's do another easy value, 347. Remember, this is the origin point, so it's going to be 8 to the 0, 8 to the 1, and 8 to the 2. And we're going to do the same thing, 3 times 8 squared plus 8 to the first times 4 plus 7 times 8 to the 0. So this is going to be 64 times 3, and that value is 192, plus 8 times 4, which is 32, plus 7 times 1, remember 8 to the 0 is 1. So that corresponding value in decimal form is 231. So 347 in octal is 231 in decimal form. So let's try 1017. So 1117. Ignore this. We're going to start with 8 to the 0, 8 to the 1, and 8 to the 3. We can ignore this 0 because 8 to the second power times 0 equals 0, so it's not necessary. So it's going to be 1 times 8 to the third plus 1 times 8 to the first plus 7 times 8 to the 0. This value is 1. So it's going to be 8 to the third, which is 512, plus 8 plus 7, and that's going to be 527. So 1 1017 in octal is going to be 527 in decimal form in base 10. All right, so 321.5. So this is our origin point. This way we subtract 1. This way we add 1. So this is going to be 8 to the negative 1, 8 to the 1, and 8 to the 2. Same thing as before. It's not any different. Even though we have a fraction here, we just subtract our powers instead of adding. So it's going to be 2 times 8 to the first plus 1 times 8 to the 0 plus 5 times 8 to the negative 1. So what we're looking at is 192 plus 16 plus 1 plus 5 over 8. And let me just double make sure. Plus 16 plus 1. What we're looking at is 321.5 in base 8 is 209.5 divide 8.625 in base 10. We'll do it 2 more times. So we have 45, 75. Of course, origin right here after the decimal, 8 to the 1, 8 to the negative 1, and 8 to the negative 2. So it's 4 times 8 plus 5 times 1 plus 7 times 8 to the negative 1 plus 5 times 8 to the negative 2. What we're looking at is 32 plus 5 plus 7 over 8 plus 5 times 5 over 64. And we'll figure out what this value is. 37 plus 7 over 8 plus 5 over 64. Alright, so 45.75 in octal form is 37.95 in decimal form. And for our last question, just a little bit longer, but pretty much the same exact thing. We want to find the corresponding powers of 8. We'll move that out, find our origin point, 8 to the 1, 8 to the 2, 8 to the 3, 8 to the negative 1, and 8 to the negative 2. So it's 5 times 8 to the 3 plus 5 times 8 to the second plus 7 times 8 to the 1 plus 7 times 8 to the 0. Just keep plugging and chugging. It's nothing intuitive. It's all the same thing. So converting from these are not hard whatsoever. So 5 times 8 to the third is going to be 2,560. 64 times 5. We are looking at 320 plus 56 plus 7 plus 1 over 4 plus 3 over 64. What we're looking at, let's add it all up. Plus 320 plus 56 plus 7 plus 0.25 plus 3 over 64. So 5,577.23 in octal form is 2,943.29 in decimal form. Well, I hope you guys found this octal to decimal video helpful in your journey. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you guys want to hear from me again, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for some more computer organization educational content. Have a blessed day.